So, Robert, the stage is yours. Let me share your screen. Can I do it now?
Yes.
Okay. So, you're on.
This is my screen. Hello, everyone. I'm Robert Jaros. I'm a full-stack web developer from Poland. I would like to thank Piotr for this invitation and the possibility to talk about KVision, a web framework I have created. As English is not my native language, please forgive me for any mistakes. So, I'm creator of KVision. It's an object-oriented web framework for Kotlin.js. It's created for both front-end and full-stack web applications. Theoretically, KVision allows you to build modern web applications without any knowledge of HTML, JavaScript, or CSS. During my presentation, I will talk a bit about KVision and its features, and after that, we will try to build a small full-stack application with KVision. So if I were to describe more what is KVision, I would highlight three elements. First of all, KVision is similar to classic framework for desktop applications, similar to MFC, Swing, JavaFX, where you build your user interface with stateful components, objects with some methods and properties connected to each other. At the same time, KVision gives you a modern reactive approach to user interface building. Like with React, JavaScript React, Compose, where you build your app with functions, functions of some kind of state, and use automatic data bindings. Last but not least, KVision is also an innovative interface for a bunch of JVM frameworks. Currently, Ktor, Spring Boot, Micronaut, Juby, Javelin, and Vertex. KVision full stack interface allows you to build full stack applications as easy as never before. You may wonder why KVision? Why have I created a new framework? There are lots of different boot frameworks. Why KVision? Why it is better? Why it is different? There are a few reasons why I have created KVision. The first reason is Kotlin. We are all Kotlin users. We love Kotlin, so I don't really have to tell much about this. It's a great language created by JetBrains, a great language with multi-platform support. Another reason is efficiency. KVision gives you a rich set of components, of tools. KVision doesn't reinvent the wheel. It integrates a lot of different popular components and technologies from JavaScript ecosystem. And KVision allows you to focus on your main task and not on your user interface internal details. Also, KVision is very flexible. It has full support for both reactive and imperative programming models. KVision allows you to build your application, build your application's architecture the way you want. It allows you to manage the state the way you like. Finally, KVision is designed for full stack. And it's true. In fact, KVision was created because I wasn't able to find any ready-to-use solution for my full stack interfaces. I really had to create a new front-end framework from zero to have something good enough for my idea of full stack. The main advantage of KVision is its rich components library. There are sophisticated layout containers. There is dedicated forms container with type-safe data model, built-in validation. To use with forms, there are many different input components, including text, rich text, type ahead. There is date and time picker. There are numeric components like spinner, slider. There is advanced select box. Finally, there is comprehensive file upload control with many options, with preview, multi-selection. KVision also has modules for advanced charts, reactive tables, configurable floating windows, many different models, toasts. There are really components for everything. You can see most of KVision components in action in the showcase example. This application is available at KVision website. It's of course open source. It's great. It's great source of information if you would like to experiment, if you want to start experimenting using KVision. It's you find many sample codes and you can learn many different things from this application. So I really think it's worth checking. Other front-end features of KVision include full support for using existing React components. It's very useful. There are lots of ready-to-use React components. You can just make some externals definitions and you can use almost all React components. There are ready-to-use mobile components from Onsen UI library. KVision supports localization based on getText translations. It's very useful. getText is a standard for application translations. There are some things like font awesome icons, JavaScript routing. KVision allows you to build applications for Electron and Cordova platforms. And finally, very important thing for us developers is Webpack hot reload, so full support for Webpack hot reload, which gives us very fast development cycle. When it comes to reactive programming, KVision also offers a lot of useful features. There are easy to use unidirectional and bidirectional bindings integrated with KVision DSL. There are some observable built-in data structures, observable value, list, set. KVision supports Redux stores, JavaScript Redux, and also Redux Kotlin implementation. So you can use Redux with KVision. But if you want something more modern, there is also a module which gives you full support for Kotlin coroutines, state flow, and shared flow. Finally, it's a fresh thing. KVision also have optimized data bindings for collections, list data structures, which optimize rendering and performance of applications. Now, let me tell you a few words about KVision Fullstack interfaces. Fullstack is a very important part of KVision. KVision allows you to build full-stack applications with Kotlin. You can use Kotlin on both sides, on the front-end side and on the back-end side. You can share some code in your common module, code for data model, a code of business logic, or any other common code you want. This is my my picture. KVision full stack interfaces are the basic idea is generally very simple. Just take a Kotlin interface, normal standard Kotlin interface, and let KVision connect two classes implementing this interface. One, on the front-end side, the client class is automatically generated by the compiler plugin. You don't need to write this class, but you can just call its methods. And on the backend side, this class implementing our interface is implemented as standard dependency injection component. Google Juice is used for Ktor, Javelin, Vertex, and Juby, and native dependency injection is used for Spring and Micronaut. So basically, KVision full stack interfaces allows you to call methods of JVM components directly from JavaScript, leaving all dirty work to KVision, the serialization, HTTP endpoints definitions, routing. KVision takes care of all these internal things. KVision interfaces, full stack interfaces, defines a kind of contracts between the client and the server. Everything, this contract is checked at compile time. So there is no place for errors, no place for version mismatch, no chance to have missing parameters. If something is not compatible, your application will just not compile and will not build. Everything is also type safe. You are not constrained to just strings or numbers. You can use any serializable types you want, even very complex types. You are also not constrained to a single JVM solution. You can use any of supported frameworks. And also all these frameworks support type-safe WebSocket connections. The whole idea is deeply integrated with Kotlin coroutines, and all the methods are suspending, and there are no callbacks. Everything is called in imperative way, and all the methods just return values. It's very easy to use such code. And finally, there are components, front-end components, which are dedicated for this full stack interfaces. They are fully integrated with them. This way, for instance, it's very easy to create a select box, which fetches data from the server, from some kind of dictionary, from the database. It's just a matter of very, very simple code to create it. If we will have time, we will try to do something like this in a moment. So now let's check how easy it really is, and we'll try to build a full stack application. This is a screenshot of this application. We'll try to do something like that. The source code is available. it should be available on this URL. We could start with KVision wizard to generate project, but I've already created an empty application, so we can just start coding. This is my IntelliJ. We have code. We have a browser, embedded browser on the right, and we can start coding. I have already executed Gradle tasks, and we should have hot reload, both front-end and client, fully working. We will start with very simple hello world. Let me try if this is all working. I'm now saving the file. Let me check this one again. Once again, maybe hello world will be good. Yep, it's working. For hot reload is working fine. We can start with our application. So we will build a simple movie character database with just this, which will display a few tabs with our characters, and it will be possible to add new ones to our tabs with a simple form. First of all, we will define our model class. Let's have two fields. We have defined this class in the common module, so it will be used by both front-end and the back-end. This is a serializable class. Now we will need to define our contract between the server and the client. So we will define an interface. This is a simple Kotlin interface. It will have two functions. One will be get, which will return a list of movie character, and the second will be add. It will return Boolean value to give us confirmation of correct operation. If we annotate our interface with this annotation, this should break our app because the backend has no implementation. We have an error here. Our application is not compiling. We need to define this class. IntelliJ suggests implementing missing methods. We have implemented them with some stubs, but it will compile now. Of course, we will end this. We will need a database. We will emulate database with a simple map, a simple list, a table list. Yes, this is our database for now. We will create get one method will return characters. We will add new, which will our database. Of course, it's very primitive database, but it will be good enough for us. Now we can implement our methods. We'll use database characters and of course return. And when adding, we'll also use add character and return true. And the backend is implemented, fully working. Everything is compiling. We can now use our database, our backend service, and it in our frontend app. So we are back in the frontend application, and now we will try to make we will try to use some components because KVision is components based. First of all, we will add a vertical panel to have everything with some padding. We can set the width and now we will use first component tab container. We'll define the first tab as for Star Trek. We will use an awesome icon. I'm saving this now, and we have hands pocket should be. We can create a second tab. Will be for Star Wars. I've learned this icon names memory, memorize them. Other I left some place. We have fully working tabs at the moment without no data, but we could add some static data. For instance, we can add our list like Kirk, Spock. We can save this, and this static data will be available. Then, of course, we would like some dynamic content. And for dynamic content, it's good to use some reactive programming. So we will now use reactive features of KVision. We will define an observable list of movie characters. It will be our main store of data on the front-end side. For better performance, we will also define substores using KVision functions. Let's call it Star Trek. We'll make it characters sub. We'll filter Star Trek characters. I will close this one. Copies. We can do Star Wars the same. And we can also use other with some more complicated condition. Now, instead of the static elements, we will use a binding. We will use bind each function, bind start track, and create name of the character as a. We will create similar binding for Star Wars, and almost exactly the same other, but of course it would be nice to have some more information. So just put when I save the file, of course, our tabs are empty because there is no data. We need to do something to have data. What can we do? Of course, we would like to have a form. KVision has form panel container. It's an object with generic type parameter, and this component can be treated as some kind of black box. It gives us a possibility to get the whole form data as one data class and set the whole form as one data class. We just need to define some fields. Let me add first field, give some label, let me name. We'll bind this to a field in our data class. We'll also can make it required for validation. We can, I will do this. New field. Bind title, it will be required field as well. Saving now, and the form should appear at moment. Yes, we have our form. We can make it. More pleasant with field set, another component with some legend moving character. We can just copy this items inside the field set. We have now this. Now the most important part, as you could see, we will just using DSLs, using components, but in KVision we are in fact using fully working stateful components. We can have a reference to such a component. We can use this reference to call its method. Let's add some action. We'll create another component, a button. Now we can use onClick launch and suspending version of onClick. And now we can just use our form get data. This is something I told a minute ago. Character is of type movie character. We are getting the whole data from our form as a single instance of our data model data class. Everything is type safe. Forms could have different types and different types of fields. Everything will work. We can just make it characters add, and we can now, yes, we need our service. I forgot about this. This is our Fullstack service, a class which I can just instantiate and just use. So character service as our methods add character. We are adding this data from the form both to our model in frontend and to the database for performance reasons. Of course, we could add this to the database and get it back from the backend, but in our simple example, it's not necessary. But if we refresh our application, we would like to have everything refreshed from the database. So at the end of our start methods, we will use some code to read from our remote service and our locals add all. So now when I refresh this application, it should read the data from the backend. Now let's test our application. I'm adding one. Nothing here. Something is wrong. Let me check. Looks like there is some problem, connection problem. Oh. Restart. And the backend. Sorry, I forgot one thing. Everything is okay here. I just forgot about a very, very simple thing. We need to initialize routing in our server application. So I forgot about this very single call. Now it should work. And it's not working. Oh God. What's wrong? Lost my application here. At least. It's working. But we can make it a bit. We can make it a bit more user-friendly, because when we are calling our button, we have this data left in our form, and with some very simple calls, typical imperative call, we can, for instance, clear, and we can focus our form. You can see you refreshed, the application is reloaded, but the database is still working. Now we can add another character, and form is cleared, item is focused. So basically our application is ready. I'm not sure we have more time. I would wanted to show one more thing. Do we have a few minutes? Piotr?
Sure, go ahead.
Do we have a few minutes more?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I would like to show how front-end component can be easily connected to backend full stack interface. We will replace this text because we would like to have suggestions when we are entering movie. It would be very nice to have suggestions. We just need to add one more method to our full stack interface. It needs to have a correct signature. It's in the documentation. I remember how it should look. Yeah, this is our method. We need to implement this method, of course. IntelliJ already complains that this method is not implemented. We will get repository, get characters, and map this title and make it this thing, and of course return the value. Very simple implementation. Now in our front-end application, we can just replace this text component with type ahead remote component. The API is almost the same. We just need to add two parameters. We need to set the correct manager and method. So we will use character service movies. All other parameters, the bindings and so on are the same. We just replaced one component with different component, but now, of course, we lost our database because the backend application reloaded. But now, if we will add one field, we can have suggestions. We can add Star Wars. We can add So as you can see, we just replace one component with different component with the same API, the same way of using it. We could almost the same way replace this type ahead component with a select component, which will just provide us a list of options without possibility to add new, and we can define this dictionary inside our backend, read it from some kind of dictionary table in the database. For our example, this type ahead is a good solution. So basically, that's all. It took us about 15-20 minutes to create a fully working full stack application with full stack interfaces, with emulated database and reactive front-end components. As you can see, we can very easily mix reactive programming model, with reactive observables, stores, bindings, with typical imperative calls like clearing the data or focusing the form. It seems very natural to mix these characters, this paradigms. So we are closing to the end of my talk. You can find more information about KVision in these places. The KVision channel on Kotlin Lang Slack is the place you can find me almost every day. I invite you to join. If you have any questions, you can join the channel and ask questions there. I think we have no more time today for questions. So thank you very much for watching and have a nice KVision.
Thanks, Robert. That's awesome. KVision feels really smooth. So I see you invested a lot of time into this. So we have no questions from the audience, but I have some from my side, if you don't mind. So functionally, KVision seems really convenient, but I'm wondering what about the customization of the theme? Because like, can I use some custom CSS style, for example, or in some other way customize the look, or do all KVision sites look the same?
This, what we have seen here is a default layout, because KVision by default uses Bootstrap. So we have seen typical Bootstrap layout, but there are other possibilities. There is even a dedicated page in the guide. You can read about this. First of all, you can disable Bootstrap CSS module in KVision in your application. It's a module, and replace it with a custom Bootstrap theme.
Okay.
There are ways to customize the Bootstrap theme yourself. You can use ready. There are lots of themes available, commercial and free. There is even a project called Bootswatch, which you can use, which gives you a bunch of free themes. Some of the example applications, I will.
Okay, let me reshare your screen.
Oh yes, share screen. Yes.
Yeah. It's showing.
Yes, some of example applications. You are here. For instance, I will open this here. The address book example uses material theme for Bootstrap, so it looks a bit like material. But there are also other possibilities. You can style the application with, for instance, Fumantic UI. There is a demo where we have Fumantic. There is a demo how to style your application with Patternfly library, another look.
Okay, so you have
one more. I need to show this. We have Onsen UI, fully implemented library of Onsen UI, which gives you mobile look. So we can have iOS look and Android look as well, if you would like to create modern mobile applications.
Okay, so we are not tied only to the Bootstrap. We can use other.
Yes, Bootstrap is the default, but there are other possibilities.
Nice.
Even KVision website, which is created in KVision, is themed with Bulma, I think, because it was ready.
Got it. Okay, thanks. Another question is, can we create apps also for the desktop or Android or iOS, or just like web applications?
KVision is for web applications, but there are, of course, ways to make web applications behave like desktop application. As I said, we can use Cordova to create mobile applications. And there is an example of this. We have a Cordova module with KVision. There are also examples of Electron applications when you can just build desktop apps with web technologies.
Okay, that's cool. Great. And my last question is about the maturity and stability of KVision. Is it safe to use in production environment, or it should be still used in some experimental staging?
I personally I'm not very good not very objective about this, but in my opinion it's stable. It is used in production applications, applications used by hundreds of users every day. Examples are also on the KVision website. We are in Poland, so many Polish websites of Polish government institutions are using applications created with KVision.
Impressive. Okay.
It's absolutely production ready.
Okay, that's cool. Oh, I'm tempted to try it out in my company in some internal service. Okay, then. So thanks a lot for your demo. If anyone has any questions to Robert, I guess it's fair to ask on Kotlin Slack. He has his own basically channel on this Slack. So yeah, I see no questions right now. So thanks a lot, Robert.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for accepting my invitation, and hopefully I will be able to host you once more in the future with some other topic. Okay.
I'm very happy.
So thanks a lot.